Alright guys, we're back here with our top 8. This match was brought to you by Fernando.
Who set everything up perfectly.
Yeah, he set it up all perfectly. We chose to start the gameplay a little early as we were making the changes. But we definitely chose some very interesting decks for you guys to see in this top 8 playout. I hope that we get to see those really cool cards come into play. Okay, so we're going to start off with an Immon and what I believe is a Mechanorimon. The glare is a little powerful.
Try to sort that out for you guys in just a second, but it is a Mechanorimon. We do have Gabubond on the other side. I won't spoil it, but he has some incredibly interesting deck build choices.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, look, this is quite interesting. He just says, I'm going to hard play the core Digimon right here. The draw 2 is really powerful.
Okay. He showed a Tamer briefly.
Okay, passing turn. So we have Itmon Mechanori. Not a super threatening board. Nothing engraved yet. As we see the Itmon attack into a Gabumon. We're just trying to chuck things into security for that Demi-Merimon effect as we dump immediately the Gwalt.
So it's interesting how you want to keep as much board presence as possible as a Musketeer player, but at the same time that chip damage in the early game does add up, especially against Gabu, who normally doesn't play any healing cards, but
I mean,
here he promotes.
We don't know.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Okay, so he's promoting here. Passing back the turn on a Kendo. This is looking like a very interesting, very slow hand from Kevin.
He did not draw from his Kendo evolution. I wonder if he will catch that at some point.
Yeah, I wonder if he caught that. So we're going to go ahead and swing in with the Itmon. Okay, again, we're just chucking chip damage in, trying to trigger our strong options. And he's playing Kakaitis Breath here. Interesting level 7 option for the 3 Musketeer player.
I saw it in the European event, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was the Latin American event. The Latin American love Kakaitis Breath. I'm still concerned to see what the blue choice is to trigger the spell, but I guess we'll find out as the game goes. I'm assuming it's the cheat mat. Kendo's going to go ahead and attack and trigger its very, very strong effect of bouncing that Imon. All right, Upamon will draw him a card. Let's see what's in security, and it's just another Imp. And that's like 4 Imps that's been summoned already.
So far, so good in terms of attacking. There was a consideration to just trade with the Mechanori because that Mechanori is going to get spun later in the game by a Bond. So he could have just traded because now the Kendo Surviving is going to go in again. So
yeah, and it's going to trigger its effect once again. I'm assuming that he doesn't hard play a rookie at this point, so he's going to swing with a Soundbird, triggering Soundbird's effect to gain a memory, go to 4. And the Grizzlymon's going to immediately block. He says, I do not care. I am not letting you touch my life.
The Mechanori does represent Gewalt here.
At every point in time. I mean, we know he added Gewalt. Well, no, there's a Gewalt in Grave. So, I mean, Beelstar as a very strong card. We
just
know
in case he has a hard cast one.
Exactly. He could card cast. He could always play Beel, but the threat is already there. Let's see. I still don't know how many Gewalt he plays in general, so even the hard casting might be a little...
Interestingly enough,
okay, so Deputy.
So he's now resolving Deputy. What he does is the Bond decks that choose to play 6k blockers have been finding a lot more success than just the full face Bond decks, which I've been noticing.
I mean, blockers are extremely powerful in a meta where you're expecting to go against aggro almost every single game.
Right. Even in the mirrors.
Doing a little thinking there as he attacks.
So the Kendo does get its effects.
The Kendo is going to trigger here. They're doing a little bit of talking.
He's explaining something. We'll find out what. Okay, so no blocks.
Okay, still no block. Kendo has, again, survived the check. And it's presenting more pressure once again from the blue player. It's not being dealt with. I guess
at this point, he could try to attack with core to see if he gets blocked.
See if he can sneak in one of those checks. I don't know. I mean, as a 3 Musketeer player myself, sometimes you don't have the pieces you want, so you're banking on them to trigger off of the security, which is like weird, but I understand.
Relying on the Kendo to die to a security check, could be the game plan. But in hindsight, now that it's survived twice, it's looking very detrimental.
Yeah, it's looking a little grim. I think he's trying to choke here, put him to 1. He's not taking the trade again with this. But see, again, this is why you don't do these effects. He gets the analog trigger here.
You do get residual value from the attack. However, I feel like the board control is just really in the direction of the Gabubond player right now.
100%. What's really bizarre is that he's choosing to let like the board control aspect happen with a deck that literally goes for game coming from raising. It's a really bizarre set of plays, but I mean, obviously these guys know what they're doing. They're experienced in these matchups.
Rookie also just, you know,
2 turns in a row.
So if he gets board wiped here, it could be pretty disastrous.
I mean, it's tough to say what's in his hand because I still haven't seen any Tamers be played, no rookies. It's seeming a little slow, but we're going and investing straight into the Gundramon. All right, let's see what the Gundramon gives us.
It would be massive if it gets to go
and
off.
This Gundramon is, I mean,
it doesn't get the effect
the Gundramon does not trigger. It has to be a, I believe it's play cost of 4 or less. Oh, and I just heard the Booyaka shot come in.
So not level, but play cost instead.
Yes.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah.
So that was a massive whiff. Then.
No, there's a huge whiff. It means an insane amount of pressure is coming in. It means like an insane amount of pressure is coming in from the Gabu player as he gets oh my goodness, the Rattle Star. But it's not lethal just yet.
He's going in for his chip damage,
but here's this. Yeah, the Gundra did take a nice little block. We did lose his ward off of
was he being a little bit ambitious, maybe? I'm not sure.
Maybe he got a little too excited, a little too much Booyaka shot.
He did Booyaka shot. I mean, he did do it.
There's not too much Booyaka shot happening, but we still have a blocker on board. We just promoted him. I believe our blue player here, the cards are just too shiny. The glare is a little too shiny, but we do have a Tamer at this point, so even dropping him to 0 security will not do it.
The Gabu player has gone extremely suboptimal. No Gabu in the back row. Tamer just hit play. There's a fully resolved gun here, so I feel.
What just? Huh? I'm a little confused.
What happened?
I think he may have triggered Demi-Mera. Like a Beal Star got moved in a weird way there. I don't know. Maybe it was just my eyes playing tricks on me. Okay. I mean, it looks like the 3 Musketeers graveyard is completely set up at this point.
It looks pretty full.
It looks full. I mean, the Cocytus Breath, I still do not see a blue source for its activation, but maybe we're just playing it for its security effect, honestly. And so we're just going to go ahead and play.
I'm trying to think right now if Beelstar is obviously a very powerful play here, but there's slightly too little setup for me to be comfortable with. I mean, he still goes to 5 memory into his turn. So I feel like at such a commanding position, maybe he just wanted to try and choke, especially when a Gabu's not getting promoted.
I mean, there's definitely merits to that play. And swinging in with the Gundramon potentially was also, had its own merits. But we'll see what he does here.
No, he has to promote here just to try and get a Gabu next turn.
Yeah, he has to set it up in the back.
Yeah.
He can't keep waiting, although it seems like he's been given infinite turns. Okay, those facial expressions do not inspire confidence once again.
But the last time I saw those facial expressions, the other Bond player went for lethal, so I don't believe they're facial expressions anymore.
Maybe it's just they're playing crazy mind games here, but we just have another blocker.
2 Grizzlymons, very surprising.
Okay, actually. 2 Grizzlymons on the board in a
they're keeping them
alive. And here's where, do you see that card on the far right?
It's one of my favorite Tamers of all time.
And here we go, and here comes the tech, dude. Here comes the tech. This is one of the reasons we chose this. I really think that Mimi is providing some crazy value to that Gabubond deck. I think he's explaining it right now. Yeah, I mean, the 3 Musketeer player must be flabbergasted.
It's not a very popular card, but when it comes on board, one wonders, how does nobody play that?
Definitely. Okay, but either way, the board on the 3 Musketeer player is kind of massive. With a Gazimon that's stuck onto the board, we'll see, and we'll take a free trade here.
I mean, it seems like it's a large board, but technically the Gabu player is perfectly safe, at least for one more turn.
Where is this Beal swinging?
I would be surprised if it's anywhere other than the Grizzly, because...
Oh my goodness, that's kind of crazy.
And
the immediate punish.
Incredibly max punish.
Immediate punish. So, yeah, it goes straight to the bottom of the deck.
That is because he controls more than 3
More than 3
cards.
Digis.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So that was unbelievably massive, because now Grizzly can't be traded with unless he loses 2 memory. So he's going to have 2 safe cards on board, and I feel like he could have some sort of lethal on the way back if...
It's kind of bizarre. I mean, the way this game has progressed. The 3 Musketeer was valuing board presence over everything, and then at the last second he saw potential lethal, and he just was like, you know what, screw it, fuck, here we go.
At the same time, the Gabubond player also pulled the trigger a little bit too early, so they've both been punished in certain ways.
No, most definitely. But I think we'll see what he goes for here. It might just be another nail bone setting up some more blockers. His trash is infinitely full.
The purple player does have a lot of resources left in hand, so I mean, I find it difficult that he does not have a Bellstar, judging from how he's counting.
I mean, either way, he could definitely have chosen to clean up the board with a Vilemon trade and then maybe like a Fly Bullet, which I mean leaves him susceptible to potential double Lobo, so I guess he didn't want that play to happen. But which I think he's still deciding on what he wants to go for on this Bellstar Mon.
Exactly. I feel like
the choice is kind of difficult in my opinion.
To be honest, a board wipe is super reasonable. He keeps both his bells. He destroys everything else, so kind of like, and then he sets up lethal for the next turn, potentially. So
we'll see where we go for. Oh, so he's going for the second nail bone. He's going to trigger the Mimi here, which does trigger off of the Bellstar Mon, giving him that 1 bonus memory, putting him to 4 on the next turn.
Incredibly positive interaction for the Gabubond player there, even though it comes out of the Bellstar. It's still a spell.
It's still being used, so exactly. Very interesting.
Putting in work already. And
yeah, already paying for itself.
Yeah,
1 memory. All right, so do we have a Gabumon to put in the bag? Okay, it's not an optimal one, but I will take any at this point in time.
I'm pretty sure he will take any bond.
Yeah, for real. Any Gabu is okay, but I mean, we're still staring the board of, what are we here, 6 Digimon?
Two blockers, 2 Gazes, 2 bells. So.
And he said, you know what, man? I've got Lobo. That board's cool and all, but
does that 1 Lobo?
I've got Lobo, so he has 3 attacks coming in with basically 3 shields.
And I mean, we've seen this before.
I mean, this Musketeer player does not value blocking until he's at 0. I've been there before. Oh my goodness. Now the question here is, how many Hammer Spark do we have?
Hammer Spark, is that the only Hammer Spark?
Well, we're at 0. We're at 0. Mimi, Hammer Spark is a free Grizzlymon swing. Wait a minute. Oh. Wait a minute. Oh, I mean, oh, he just went for it. He didn't have any. So I guess he just didn't go. I guess he just didn't go for it at this point in time. No, so I'm getting a couple questions here on the Gundramon play, and the Gundramon, what it says, I think on the card section, if you pull it up, is that it's a play cost. If you don't use an option, it deletes a Digimon of play cost of 4 or lower, I believe. And at that point in time, everything was a little too big for him to pop. Very intense game. It was literally down to the last security. Any option could have won it there for Kevin.
I feel like the game was heavily influenced.
Did he not have a Mechanorimon at one point? Oh, the glare must be a little crazy. Oh, definitely.
Let's see if we can we fix any of the goals?
I think we'll definitely have it ready for next round, but as of right now, it looks like we're getting ready to go into Game 2. Musketeer, in my opinion, as a lover of the deck, been playing it for a very long time. Every time I see the Gabumon matchup, I am very terrified. I'm terrified. I mean, there's literally nothing I can do. My deck, the way that I deal with aggression is through blockers, and the mechanism of Bond of Friendship is to shuffle them to the bottom of my deck.
To be honest, Mickey bagging off of that, I feel like the matchup, like I was saying, was heavily influenced by the fact that the purple player did not value blocking.
Yeah, I think the fact that we got to the end of the game was the fact that he chose to not take those free blocks in the beginning.
Because you can understand his reasoning. His deck is full of options and higher DP cards, so a Kendo surviving is maybe a 50-50 at most.
Definitely.
But still chose to rely on his security. I mean, it ended up paying off in game 1 to see if the Gabu player can take advantage of it in game 2.
I mean, I definitely agree with the Gabu's choices in being extremely aggressive. He was even swinging with some Grizzlymons. He was going.
I like the Grizzlymon attacks because
he knew what his win condition was, and his win condition was to hope his opponent didn't block and go for those early. Exactly, you got to sneak him in right before his opponent can get to his big critical turns. Either way, here we're seeing Gazimon being played on top of the Nemero. That is a beautiful opener from the Musketeer player. If I see the boy in my hand and when I'm playing Musketeer, I'm excited.
Analog boy.
All right. I mean, he had a rookie into analog. That you can't ask for more.
Not a doubt about because the pro player played a Gazi. If you have any number of Mimis and you Hammer Spark, you can still Hammer Spark and then just gain the one from the Mimi instead.
Exactly. Mimi does bypass the Gazi, which is a really weird interaction that's brought to you by that specific list. didn't really notice anyone else trying that tech today, but it's definitely something very interesting that needs to be explored, in my opinion.
Because there are a lot of memory chokers in the format right now.
I mean, especially in purple, they just keep bringing them back.
They come back always.
They don't stop coming, man. So we'll go ahead here, and he's trying to. He activated Hammer Spark. I guess he didn't see the Gazi.
Yeah,
oh boy.
He might be a little nervous. That I've noticed based on his mannerisms, but.
Okay, so we're gonna Ice Wall here. Really interesting, and I think he's just gonna. Yep, go straight into the Kendo. Definitely a very powerful card in the mirror, and even in matchups like this, spinning that Gazi when he attacks is very powerful, allowing him to play his very strong Hammer Sparks, which we lost one of.
Both these rookies are going in. I'm pretty sure both these rookies are going to swing.
Oh, wait, but that doesn't trigger once again because of Gazi. Oh, I guess he's being...
We were hyping Gazi up, and for good.
I mean, there is a reason that we're saying Gazi is a crazy card.
Does Gazi go in for one?
I don't think we can afford to lose Gazi, man.
He's done too much work.
But to be fair, the Gazi is probably going to remove no matter what, based off the Kendo, so we might have to cash in at this point in time. It's tough. It's a tough call, though. He chooses not to. He says, well, you're going to have to cash that effect in instead of bouncing my Itmon. So Deputy Mon goes ahead and triggers his effect, adding Cocytus to his hand and trashing the rest.
Tracy said, this Gazi has done too much for me. I'm not getting rid of it. He's coming back to my hand.
You're going to have to get rid of him for me, man. I ain't doing it. But that puts the problem of if he swings. So, yeah, he's going to go for the control play, where he's attacking and bouncing. So he's still going to trigger the Itmon here, which is very, very powerful. Let's see the, okay.
Oh,
well, we're losing a Mechanorian Azor, but we did add a Nail Bone, one of the most crucial
Another
pieces.
reason to maybe consider not even bouncing the Gazi is that
the fact that he has no rookie.
Yeah, he had no rookie, so now he has access to another draw through that.
Yeah.
But he valued the tempo.
I guess he valued
better.
Yeah, the board control aspect of the game. But he finally did see his Tamer, so let's see where we go from here. We still have a Gabumon that has an attack. We have a Tamer, and we're at 2 memory. Let's see where the Gabumon player takes this.
Has Kevin shown us any up to the game memory tamer at the beginning of the turn? Because I haven't seen.
No, I haven't
Davis
seen any
yet.
of the floaters, quote unquote. Yeah, I haven't seen any Davises. I haven't seen any Sora and Joes, but I have seen Mimi. So, I mean.
And she went in.
Yeah, she definitely did. Okay, so we're evolving here into a Gorilla. Still our turn. We're at 1 memory. Gorilla is extremely powerful. 1 cost 6k. Insanely efficient. And we'll take a sneaky little check here. So another Deputy. Gorilla surviving is huge there.
The monkey never dies.
The monkey, dude. I mean, I'm an Octopus fan, if you know what I mean, but the Gorilla is very, very powerful. Choosing to go for a Strabimon here to reveal the top 3 cards of his deck, and looking like it actually got the value that he wanted. He's access to a Lobo or a Kendo
imagine
here.
Having options.
But imagine Strabi hitting. That's crazy. Damn, imagine revealing 3 and not going to the bottom.
Affectionately, we call him Whifferton because he
Whifferton Deluxe, man.
But not this time.
No, this time he got his value. It's specifically for the best card in his deck, Lobomon.
This top 8 cards don't win.
This is true. Top 8 does not win. But so that Gazi that was bounced back last turn is coming right back to the board. Deputy Mon's still in place. We do have access to some powerful black options. We'll see where we go from here. Oh, that is the tell that man is having the Gundramon in hand. Guy is ready to
getting flashbacks
blow up
the whiff in the last game.
Yeah, I think that's what's making him think about this play. I mean,
tremendously important, but that's the only way he gets a Gold Stormer, so I'm not sure.
Definitely.
Maybe he has no other choice.
Obviously, without access to his hand, Tracy doing a really good job at splitting his hand really far back. Can't tell what. Us. Yeah, he is keeping all info from us. Very, very sneaky.
Very exciting too.
So we'll go ahead and see. Oh, he just said, I don't care about these flashbacks. Draw a card. Let's mill 5 with. And we hit an option. Okay, so we have Trump Sword. Only plausible target is the Strabimon, which would have been popped anyways by the effect of the Gundramon.
All things considered, the Gobble player, got through the turn pretty well.
Yeah, he got through the turn unscathed, but that is a level 6 blocker, my friend. That is an unspinnable blocker. But I don't think Kevin has too much to worry as he plays the second Tamer. Now he's guaranteed to go to 3 no matter what.
But I pose this question to you: Is he blocking with it?
Wait.
He does.
He does. Let's go. All right, maybe we've Let's go. Let's go.
That's how you get him. You condition him.
Yes.
But to let him attack, don't block a few times, and then you truly put.
Then you show him. I know how to block. All right. And the Gorillamon still surviving the checks. Very, very powerful. And remember, we're having a level 6 here that's going to possibly stay on the board. The options that I saw Kevin playing, specifically the Rattlestar.
For the what's their version of Blaster? Ultimate.
The version of Atomic Blaster is
Absolute Blast.
Absolute Blast. We were just talking about. So Absolute Blast here wouldn't trigger because that's a level 6. Cannot bounce a level 6 with the board state the way it is. Absolute Blast does. I'm sorry. I now changed the card to Absolute Blast, but Rattlestar definitely does have some restrictions that doesn't allow it to trigger in this
I'm
specific
pretty sure
scenario.
that's the main reason why people moved to Absolute
But
Blast.
that's the reason. Exactly. The reason I haven't said Rattlestar. Exactly. I haven't said Rattlestar in so long that I was just and we're just hard playing a Lobo. Oh, we're gonna hard play that Lobo. Very, very interesting. Okay. So we're gonna promote this Gazi. Now Gazi's back on the board and showing his dominance.
I feel like the Gabu player has not seen an incredibly optimal line in either of these games.
It's kind of crazy.
He's still in a decent position, I'm not gonna lie, but
I never forget that one bond means
turn everything.
Yeah, it means almost certain death at any point in time for this deck. The fact that we have double Tamer in the back means that we're cycling.
The only thing that concerns me, this is Gabu, not the set 6 freestanding Gabu.
Yeah. If we had the restander, we were
a lot better position
good to go. I mean, we're not. We're doing what we can here. So, Tracy taking some time to think through his plays a little. Okay, and he's deciding for the board control. All right. Very, very good. I think that Gorillamon had to go. He just couldn't let it go. And effectively, his blocker did leave, but I think he's going. Zwart? I mean, if it's not a Zwart, I don't know what it is. I think he's already milled a Millennium, so it can't be that. We're going to mill 3, putting another Gundramon to the graveyard. It looks like his level 7/musket lineup is going to, what, 7 right now? Or 6? Mechanorimon's hitting the board.
6, yes. So it was a Mechanori.
So I'm telling you, it was a Mechanori. See, the glare, well, I mean, the glare's on the Zwart this time. Rightfully so. That card is extremely shiny. I mean, we definitely did see on one of his mills that Millenniumon is in his deck as well.
His second choice should be an aggressive option. He is the aggressor right now for sure. And
he goes for it. And Labramon not only is it an aggressive option, because it is, oh, just kidding.
Maybe trying to filter cards in his hand for a, he could either try to be digging for appeals if he doesn't have one, or filter another 7 cost option. Either way.
Either way, I think the Labramon is a very good play.
Yeah,
very
and
strong
they see Kai's breath being discarded.
I don't think I saw him trigger the Labramon effect, but
did you not?
I didn't see anything go to grave.
He drew one and discarded Kakai's breath, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, it's just right at the edge of the camera. I see. Okay, so definitely making Beals now -7. Still 5 costs, but is extremely optimal. And Kevin has decided I've had enough, and it's bond time. So it looks like we're going down to 1 memory.
It might be a relatively unimpressive bond, but that might still be impressive.
But I mean, a bond might just be enough. So we're gonna shuffle this Mechanorimonon. We have to deal with him somehow. Drawing a card off the Upa, and we're checking straight into another Labra. We're going to check again, and this time I think we have to shuffle our homie, Gazimon.
The Gazi's gone.
Yeah, Gazi has had enough. He's been raining terror, and Gwalt goes to hand, does not activate. Unfortunately, Lobo's still active in hand, but we are at 1 memory. Hammerspark, I think, just does it, but Nailbone could be the crackback. Let's see what we see here.
Oh. And the final reveal
is Gundramon, so it is honestly a vanilla Hammerspark Lobo for game. Oh, the way that Kevin's playing this, it doesn't seem like that is the case.
No, we just know that they're slow roll masters around these.
I mean, it's tough to. It's a tough sell after literally the finals that just happened. How lethals go around here.
I suppose it's Blaster's game.
Yes. Okay. So I think I see. It's tough to.
It was an option for sure.
I definitely did see a couple options, but he just doesn't have the hybrid. We have seen a bunch of Kendas.
Kakai's breath. Okay.
There is just like a Kakai's, which does just let us live. He plays it in a very interesting way. Almost like a poker chip.
Almost like I don't want to do this right now.
I don't want to do this, but I guess I must. Putting his opponent to what it seems like 6 memory. There's a Labra on board, but we do have 2 security. I'm not really feeling threatened, but remember, Beostar is. And after that Gundramon went, is 4 memory at this point.
Incredibly cheap, right?
Yeah, she has 4 memory, so the turn stays. Zwart went to hand, and she is, I don't know, it's looking like a Beelstar. Zwart turn to
Pace
me.
2, 4.
Yeah, he's at 6, so it's a 4-6, pushing him back to 4 with nothing aggressive to the board. He could just resummon the No, the Mechanoman got tucked.
There's a lot of options for like Agua player to survive.
There are
in that scenario, but it is a.
There are. Okay, so he is just going for it. I think.
Unless he plays.
I mean, there's no option here that is not Nailbone that's being played, right? Okay. The question is, what is in his track?
Nailbone is significantly less effective against Ice Wall because it doesn't matter how many bodies you have, you're only getting 1 swing that turn. So.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Ice Wall isn't insanely.
I feel like no matter how crazy this turn is, it only matters how many blockers you can put up. That's about it.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I mean, the most important thing that we have to consider when we look at this matchup is the fact that they have access to both Ice Wall and the fact that Bond shuffles all sort of defensive options that we have for 3 Musketeer. And as much as all those things are going against Tracy, Tracy is still taking his game pretty commandingly, is what it seems like at this point. He's definitely the driver.
He is ahead right now, certainly.
He hasn't decided on his level 4 unless he doesn't have a purple level 4. That also
it's
just could
possible.
be a thing.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
okay.
I mean, there's still 4 Digimon. The Inmon is in the back.
To be fair, there was no other choice for the 7 cost options to play, but still incredibly suboptimal. Not milling so much, not having a level 4.
Definitely not what we want to see here. I mean,
I don't even think he has blocker in hand, which is.
Oh, it seems like Beelstar was 3 costs. He was at 6, and we're down to 3. I think he's just gonna. Is he just gonna Zwart him again? I don't think that's the play. I mean, he could also whiff off those top 3, not hit a blocker, and then still lose to Lobo.
Yeah. So
certainly not the play.
It's imperative. It's imperative for at least this turn to put him into 1.
As much as we can. Ice Wall is too strong. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. So we did see a blocker, very strong. And where's Tracy going from here?
That is crucial. Second.
Is that a? That looks like a one cost to me. It looks like a promote, but there's no way he's going to trade the blocker for a promote.
Trading a blocker for a promote? No, if he had a promote, he would put it over the level 3 and pass it to 1. So that would be a lot more efficient. Maybe he doesn't see that one.
I don't know, but he's definitely thinking. Give him a second. Let's see where we go from here. Hard to try to get into these. Oh, we just played the Gazimon. Gazi is huge. Not only have we
just straight up Lobo here?
Yeah, not only have we stuck a blocker, we have stuck the Gazi. Alright, let's see how Kevin's gonna maneuver his way out of this one. Very tough. I mean, the game doesn't necessarily end, but because Ice Wall is a card, we gotta see where we go.
So you need multiple Ice Walls to survive. Probably just 1, honestly.
Just 1 Ice Wall is enough. Choke him to 1 and Ice Walling.
Incredibly pivotal that level 3 gains him 1 memory when it attacks.
Okay, so Kevin is going to show him.
Now he has 2 attacks, so there is a world where purple
he needs to make sure that he does something here that doesn't give him too much memory. He can't give him 2 attacks.
But even to 3, I believe, is lethal. So anything under 3.
Okay. I mean,
that would be fine.
I mean, that's fine. I don't mind that play. That definitely guarantees that next turn he has almost infinity memory to work with.
I don't think there's any Jack Raid lines available for Tracy, so it should be safe.
If I see a Jack Raid, I'm gonna go crazy.
Would you be the purple master?
I don't think I'd be the purple master at that point.
You'd have to get Tracy your title.
I think I'd have to win the title, man. But the Soundbird one showing that it's true efficiency here that's being sent off the Nailbone. Definitely. I mean, that 1 extra memory is insane.
If there was 2 Soundbird mons on board, he would just win the game.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, that's insane.
I used to not like the card, but I was wrong.
Neither of us did.
It's okay. It's okay to admit when you're wrong. So let's see where we're going. I heard a very loud so this is that's always a sign of a very powerful turn to come.
Our local favorite.
The local legend. Right before he lethals you, he'll always tell you so, and he proceeds to. Oh my goodness, the hammer, the Gazi. Okay, all right. We got a little ahead of ourselves. That Gazi is insane. Everyone, dude, that crowd is hype. The crowd is going crazy. All right, let's see where this is going. All right, Tracy.
It does show that Tracy's on point, not forgetting any of his triggers.
He is not forgetting a single Gazi trigger. He's not allowing that to happen.
Incredibly focused right now.
Definitely. He has the eye of the tiger, man. He has the prize so close. Going to literally winning this match guarantees top 4. which
an incredible accomplishment.
An incredible accomplishment at a tournament of this size, and
this is
in-person tournament.
The maybe largest in-person tournament. Definitely the year so far. Since
definitely of the year so far. Let's go with that one.
Do that.
I mean, there's been plenty of big names here. We have a very strong showing from our personal locals here at PPG. Very strong showing from the Gaia Force Gaming individuals. So it's not an easy accomplishment to get to the top 8, let alone to the top 4.
We had some international players too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, this is Mom Spaghetti. Oh, and the Imon going in and going straight up, triggering 3. Yeah, I mean, it dies, so it triggers the Demimera. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, definitely. The Beostar now has to be free. And we have a Vilemon on play. Promote, draw 3. See where we go from here. I mean, we're at 0 security, but yeah, that's looking like Gabubond things. And I think we're going to go ahead and see a game 3. I know Tracy's not looking too happy about that one, but that's just the nature of the matchup.
No, I mean, being so close to winning, knowing that you have no counterplay against the Bond when they have 3 Tamer out, so it just.
I mean, there was other lethals present, especially with the amount of hybrids that I've been seeing from Kevin. So it's not tough to say that he could have just loboed him 20 times, but definitely the friendship is a blowout. Nice blockers, nice Gazi. He had the restander. Nice board, bro.
It's just something that Purple suffers with. I'm not surprised that it's going to game 3 because they seem to be very skilled in this particular matchup, both of them, but. I mean, 3 Musk is definitely not favored.
Is definitely the underdog in this. I don't know if we would put some percentages. I'd be saying maybe like 75,
Tracy
25.
Definitely needs to cast a 60% chance of victory for me to believe in him right now.
For sure. I'm seeing a question here in the chat. What are the blue tamers in the 3 Musketeer deck? So far, my friend, I do not believe I've seen a blue tamer.
There are some builds of the deck that play the 2-drop mat, I believe, from the starter deck.
Yeah, the 2-drop mat from the starter deck.
But that does not seem to be the case here. I think he just plays them off a Bellstar and discards them otherwise, from what I've seen so far.
I think he's just trying to do it mostly for the option that it comes out of security, deals with the Bond, because we have so many limited options to deal with him in and of itself. We only have the Trump swords. At this point, the Zword in itself is 15.
Also, Ian just reminded me that, yeah, you do need a blue Tamer's.
Yeah, you need a blue tamer
even off a Bellstar, actually.
Yeah, so I don't think they cannot play the Bellstar. I mean, the Kakai's off the Bellstar. That is something that I
so definitely is that really just for shield purposes?
So far, by what I've seen, it seems like it's just shields.
We'll see if he plays it this game. Any blue tamer, I don't know.
I mean, the deck has literally built maybe 35 cards.
There's a chance, man.
There's a chance. Hey, Lewis, thanks for joining us. We see you, buddy. That man's the GOAT.
Local legend.
The local legend.
Another one. Not the same one we were talking about, but yeah.
All right, so let's see what's happening in Game 3. This one's a little bit more optimal from Kevin's side. We see Gabumon along with the Tamer early. Haven't seen that start, I think, in the other 2 games. So we're just going to play a Deputymon, add Beelstar plus Flybolt, and mill 2 Imps. That's my issue with Deputymon.
Tracy so far is all business. Rookie plus Deputy.
Yeah, that man has not whiffed.
So he is definitely...
He's showing that he means business. No stop, yeah, he means business, bro. All gas, no brakes, I think that's what you were going to say, but...
I'm glad you can fulfill that.
I got you, man. I got you. And we're seeing the Kendo insanely strong. He's had the Kendo every single time. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the EX Gabu. Okay, no Gazi in play. Gazi's in the back, so he said, I'm hammer sparking now. I am tired of this. Oh, let's not forget that the game before we did just lose a hammer spark in the beginning of the game for fun.
Still got there.
Okay, but we're going here. Okay, and he's checking. This time the Kendo did die. So that's a little bit unfortunate.
Just by mannerisms, I think Kevin has a much more powerful opening simply because he's playing a little faster, he's showing a little confidence in the way he moves his cards. So
yeah, honestly,
I would say he has a good chance of having a good hand.
I don't disagree with you, but I just saw that Mimi, and I am excited for this last game. I am glad that we were able to feature this.
If the interaction where Mimi makes the Hammer Spark live through the Gazi and then he wins because of that, that would be...
that would instill great confidence in me. All right, but we just see a hard play of a rookie into a pass. It's fine. I mean, we have no Tamers. I mean, we have only the Tamers on board, so it's definitely fine for Kevin to do that. He goes and plays the EX1 Gabumon that I just mentioned last turn. I'm glad we got there.
I love that boy.
That guy is crazy. Look at how chunky he looks. And we're playing the Rattlestar super duper early, triggering the Mimi to make it a little bit cheaper. And we're going to spin the Deputymon. Definitely a Gundramon would be detrimental at this point.
It's incredibly relevant to give him one less memory here, specifically since he doesn't really control the board right now. He needs to come back into play without allowing Tracy to filter through cards, and every single memory counts at this point.
Okay, the Soundbirdmon is going to get in no matter what, though, and it does trigger, at least putting him to 3. So we'll see what we got here. Gorillamon.
That was incredibly important.
Yeah, definitely. That Soundbirdmon could not continue to live turn after turn. So, I mean, it is 1K. The chances of it living are really slim, but if it would have, it'd be insanely bad for Kevin. But we are seeing double Ghazi in the back, so we are locked and loaded.
Tracy was very close to winning last game, maybe 1 or 2 attacks off, and he chose willingly not to attack with Ghazis. I don't know if he's going to do it this time.
I think since he has 2, I think he's going to be a little bit more frugal with his Ghazis. Okay, and we're just going to see the hard play of him. He is just playing rookie rush at this point. He wants to get that chip damage in early, cash in on his cards, and get the value he needs. We're going to go ahead and promote, not forgetting to trigger Matt, drawing a card. That Mimi is unsuspended. I'm assuming Kevin knows that.
Regardless of whether he remembers or not, it'll be untapped. However, will he remember to use it?
Let's see where we go from here. All right. I mean, he also doesn't have to choose to use it. Remember that just the fact that you're playing against the Beelstar deck, it can be used on their turn very easily.
They'll turn to 0, it goes to 1.
Okay, and Strabimon adding himself. Okay, adding him the Lobo. Dropping down the second Mimi. Second Mimi would be crazy. But, okay.
We turn into full-on control.
In terms of control, yeah. Not like crazy bad, but it's crazy good. Yeah, I see you, Ion, in the chat. Yeah, there is 1 loop in the top 8. We actually just featured him last round. He was doing crazy. Ended up, I think, 3rd place in after Swiss. So Immon's going to go ahead here and check.
With a very unique list, might I add.
Very unique list. Definitely check that game out. We'll go ahead and see. So Immon checks, dies to the bond, and mills 3 whiffs. Nothing really important. The trash isn't looking, it's particularly full, but it's full of imps.
That is a Grizzly, though, right?
Yeah, the glare is a little crazy, but that is Grizzly. He chose not to block on the imp. Assuming the imp wouldn't die, I mean, maybe the imp, he just wanted it, like, the potential of it surviving, so he didn't mill the 3, which is sometimes pretty important.
It's reasonable. Like, yeah. I can see the line of play at least.
Well, we do have a Pagumon under the Ghazi that definitely mills 2, and we have a Demi on the others.
Do you think he'll sacrifice Ghazi on purpose just for that?
I think 1 Ghazi has to go, but
could be.
But the Grizzly definitely is blocking a Ghazi.
No,
the Grizzly. I don't think that Grizzly.
We've had a rover, so now Kevin's the one saying take security.
Yeah, for real,
I don't care
definitely.
about my security now.
Okay. All right, so it's looking like a very powerful turn here, and he's just deciding to Trump Sword. I mean, he has to get those options into the graveyard no matter what.
It is unbelievably surprising. Oh, he has to remember to tap Mimi for the extra 1.
There's a lot of pressure on him. There's a big crowd, and I think he's talking to the crowd, and he kind of forgot that trigger.
He did not get the trigger off of it. He still got a generous amount of memory,
but he could have had 1 more.
No, that one definitely drawing basically a free hammer spark could come back to bite him. So.
I don't want the game to be over based off of 1 memory. That'd be crazy. How bad would that feel?
I mean, I've seen it happen way too many times, in fact.
Oh, but we're just choosing to swing with this Grizzlies. Oh, okay, and it's gonna be the boys. Now we have the 2 boys.
Okay, that is guaranteed bells next turn.
For sure, there's a guaranteed bells, but I don't think the trash is too crazy. I think we have maybe at max 5 reducers.
The problem is Kevin might be so behind at this point that might be good enough.
I don't know if behind would be the right word. Remember that he just has Tamer and he has a Gabu in the back. This is the bond matchup. His security isn't really live unless it's Trump Sword's Ward. And he's going to Ice Wall. Very powerful. And he's going to keep the turn going. Okay, very interesting. The Ice Wall did come out for free.
He could have chosen to chuck the 1 and guarantee it, but now...
I guess he could have, he could have chosen to...
He might also not...
Oh, I mean, he's choking to 1 no matter what.
He has a different way to choke.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Definitely reasonable.
He could have Ice Walled and then let the Beals come down and then Mimi off of the Beals, and it would have been maybe the same exact play.
Get 1 more on the way back. Yeah.
Exactly. He's just getting 1 on the way back, so he's like double dipping, if anything. But Yeah, they're definitely fighting for their lives, as I heard Tracy just said. Quoting.
You guys can't see it, but there's a crowd of at least 6 or 7 people just around them right now.
Yeah, so
that's
the pressure's on.
The pressure's on, that's for sure.
Pressure's on. Feature match is no joke, guys. Feature mask pressure. So we're gonna go ahead and just Gawalt the board. Let's go ahead and not forget. Oh no, he's not Gawalting. He's Happy Bullet Charm because they're the same DP.
Are they the same DP though? No.
Yeah, 6K.
Oh, okay, 6K. Yeah.
They're
so
6K.
It's based on DP, so they
it's
both
based
go,
on DP, so they both go.
It's
yeah,
not levels DP, so.
Yeah, it looked like a Gawalt, but it just was even better. It
Gawalt.
was a one-sided Gawalt. Yeah, I also had a lot of drawbacks with that card. I didn't want to play it for a very long time. I was very hard-headed, but that card sometimes in situations just like this or a suspended level 7 is broken.
Yeah.
We have to play it. We have to give ourselves options.
Difficult to play on that card too, unless he had the Octo. I don't want to throw it out there, but
I mean,
Mr. Sushimon would have.
Like I said, I like sushi. But obviously, Monkey for top 8, and we're just going straight into the Bond. Like I said, sometimes Bond is just enough. We're going to trash 2 security. I can't really see what they were, so I mean, he did it so fast that maybe it was just irrelevant. Who cares?
So it's going to get rid of.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and trigger. And we're going to tuck a Gazimon. I mean, there's 2 Gazimons. We're going to trigger, okay, off the Bills.
It wasn't option, which is very important.
Okay, and let's go ahead and check. Matt, it's a blank at this point.
Well, some Ice Wall scenarios getting the extra 2 at the beginning is very relevant.
Oh no, you're absolutely right. The map maybe must have been the most insane card that it could have potentially been.
You're trying to downplay.
I'm trying to downplay how good it was.
just to hype it up later.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the board is basically here except for Bailstar that I don't think we can deal with unless we have Titus.
I think they choose between those.
Yeah, I don't think he's running the Kakaitis. Definitely is a rattle kind of day.
Even if it lives, I guess the worst thing would be Zording over it, but...
no, it's just a free swing. He has 2 swings guaranteed. So he has lethal presented on board. He has 3 memory that he's guaranteed, and his opponent's kind of out of gas, in my opinion. We're going to play a Gabubond, go down to 2.
Draw options, that's for sure.
And we're trying to see where we go from here. Maybe we choose. We can maybe use the.
He didn't draw one from his draw loop, so he should definitely do that.
Wait. There's a lot of interesting things just happened. The Gabumon I don't think triggered there. Its on play effect. Maybe chuck it up the pressure. But we did get the BB +1. The double hammer spark.
I'm glad he remembered that one. If he remembered anything, that one was real.
Okay, the Doki Betamon being played. The Grizzly Bond is super important.
Incredibly important Grizzly, actually.
Yeah, definitely. The unfortunate part is that we did not cast an Ice Wall this turn, and we know that at least we have 2 bodies present. The
Tracy looks very happy, so he might have a line of play for lethal.
For sure. Now. I mean, the Beelstar for sure is attacking. Second, the Salamandron has to go first. It's definitely the best sequencing. So we'll go ahead and see. Exactly. Yeah, the Beelstar swings first. The Grizzly definitely doesn't block it, but on the Soundbird then it would, so this is definitely the most optimal scenario. But I think Tracy's just taking a moment to think about his options here. I think he's figured.
He is leaning toward that sound, but decides to go with the Bellstar first. Actually, difficult situation to block. I mean, no block is basically forced here.
I mean, it's forced no matter what. He decided to go with the Beelstar first, which is really bizarre. I mean, I don't know what he's hoping for here except, what, Ice Wall or Hammer Spark? Maybe Cordramon.
Cordramon could be pretty massive.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard that, but we just hit our time. So we're going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, or 5 minutes.
Does the feature have a little bit more time, maybe, individually?
I believe so, but I don't think the 0, 1, 2, 3 is going to matter at this point, if I'm being real with you.
That's fair.
Okay, so it wasn't anything important. It was a vanilla in the security. We're going to gain the memory for free.
So no more.
They have an extra 5 because they started late because of issues. Yeah, but it's fine. I'll let you know. Relax.
So now.
All right, so I think he's just going to play Beelstar and Shawarma the board. Yeah, I mean
that should be good enough.
That sometimes it's just good enough. Sometimes that might just be good. He has 2 cards on board. I mean, he's lost, I think, 2 blockers. He played a blocker earlier and swung with it, and it died to a Gundra. Let's not forget that. There was another Grizzly there. How many Grizzlies can we possibly have?
So, Tracy just making sure that his last play for the turn is as optimal as possible. But in the position that he's in right now, he can pretty much do anything.
I think what I'm going to have for the rest of the top 4 is I'm going to have the head judge sit down next to the feature match and just watch it so that these mandatory effects don't forget to be triggered. I can't really run over there and fix game states in a simple manner, so I think we're just going to do that moving forward.
Yeah, it's a little tedious to reach out to them from where we are, but we'll definitely have a head judge there.
Yeah, for the next at least top 4.
It's our eagle eyes. That's what it is.
Yeah, we have to. We get. It's not our eagle eyes. The chat's seeing it too.
Props to the chat.
Yeah, props to the chat. All right, so we're going to go ahead and play a Vilemon. All right, so not only have we set up lethal, we've set up a blocker. He's technically got 2 shields plus his life. We need 3 swings, and we don't really have the sources, man. I think this might be a wrap.
I want to believe Kevin has a way.
I believe in Mimi. Mimi's kind of cool. Look at her. I think she has a cowboy hat.
That is a gigantic cowboy hat.
It is a huge. And Kevin realized it. And the writing's on the wall. Tracy taking a very difficult matchup and going into top 4. Absolutely crazy. So I think that was the last game for the top cut. So we should be going into our next game momentarily.
Top 4 should be very soon.
Yeah, for sure. I think they're going to go ahead and talk it out.
How do you feel about that? I mean, the matchup in general is just so unfavored.
I mean, as a 3 musket player myself, man, I can tell you that it's definitely not a very good matchup. And it's one that I'm very, very... I'm giving props to Tracy because oftentimes I sit across from the table, I see a Gabubond, and I know Ice Wall's coming my way. I know that Bond of Friendship cannot be blocked, and I'm just basically giving up.
Tracy's choices in accepting the early checks on his security, trying to get as much value from his security before committing a blocker, maybe those lines of plays are what giving him like the slight advantage in the matchup, because the life in the late game is going to go away anyway. You can't stop a Bond, so maybe
100%.
just getting as much value in the early game as possible is what's helping him.
It's really difficult personally. I mean, the life in the early game is life in the late game, right? In the late game, that life is, you can't stop him from checking. You can't stop from big boy Bond to, he's coming in, he has his guns, and
so
he's going to...
A Bond just coming down, dealing lethal immediately versus having to check 3 times and lethal league. It's the same thing, so maybe just having his checks in the early game, getting that Mat Tamer, for example, if it happens earlier in the game, due to taking a security check instead of blocking.
No, of course.
Swing the matchup like in that way. So
you're absolutely right, and I think I'm one of the biggest advocates of just like letting it happen and letting security take the wheel. We don't have an access to our Gewalt, and we need to find it. Sometimes it's stuck in security. Sometimes our tamers are stuck in security, so we need them. As you saw,
making Bellstar 1 or 2 cheaper during the course of security checks.
Exactly. Not only cheaper, but giving us the options that we need that we want to use. So analog, that it was actually hit like 3 times in security over the course of 3 games.
And it was massive. In game 2, I believe he was fully bricked. He had 0 lines of play. He was passing turn very ineffectively, and then all of a sudden the Gabubond player checks for 2 security. Back-to-back
analogs, and I think
that's how you know.
The boys. So I think he ended up discarding like 3 or 4 options, making Biostar 4 cheaper and guaranteeing a Biostar.
It was fuel.
It was all the gas was given. Yeah, I agree with Coffee Dude. Sometimes it's better to take the early hits, depending on the hand that you have. Obviously, it's very hand dependent. You see the cards in your hand, and you're like, well, I need these, I don't need these. But if you're really, really in that need for it, I would take the hits early. But those hits early, they might come back and bite you.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was taking that sort of aggressive damage from other matchups like Jess or Agumon also, just letting them do whatever they want to because.
Well, to be fair, Jessmon, the moment that Jessmon comes to the board, similar to Bond, that damage is coming no matter what.
Yeah,
all our cards are blockers, and Jessmon says, "I'm going right through the blockers." It's a very similar concept.
Those choices that he's making, like in the game itself, piloting in the deck in a slightly different way that conventional. Maybe that's what's netted him this top 4 so far.
Definitely. It might be due to a couple of variables, specifically Analog Youth being now an available card. Every time that I have the opportunity to cast Analog Boy, I feel insane Like, the fact that I can go Rookie Analog as my turn 1 on 3 Musketeers is super accelerating for the deck and for the matchup. But definitely, not only that, his playstyle, his choices. Remember, he has Kakaitis's, he has Trump Swords. He's definitely upping his count, you know, giving respect to the matchup.
I would say brave choices, because not everybody agrees with Kakaitis, bro.
I'm not brave enough for Kakaitis. I think I tried it once in a locals, thinking I could cast it off of Beals, and I was quickly told that that was not possible. So I immediately cut that from my deck.
That realization?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But with the popularity of bonds in general, both red and blue, we have to figure out a way of dealing with them in their
There was a sea of bond players in this tournament. A sea of bond players. I'm not sure if it's the same online. Maybe there's more Jessamon online, maybe more control decks. But here it was, top tables was all bond decks.
Well, no. The top tables, no. Whoa. Yeah, during Swiss.
Correct.
The top 8 is actually pretty well-rounded, if you ask me. There's a little bit of everything. And it's kind of similar to the European Nationals. We're seeing Diaboro doing some crazy showings.
Their boards get crazy.
Those boards not only do get crazy, but I didn't have much confidence in the deck. The deck requires so many pieces to actually work. They have so many level 4s, so many level 5s, so many level 6s that they specifically need. But sometimes that new EX Diaboro that gives all your tokens blockers is proving to be a huge threat for Gabubond.
For the last, I would say, 1 or 2 formats, decks that build towers, basically we call it going up the chain from level 3 to level 6, like they have not seen that much success except for Lord Knight, I would say. So I feel like Diaboromon kind of brings that playstyle back because it has so much inherent defense in its line.
Yeah.
That's what helps it so much, because normally when you try to go up the tower, up the chain, it's kind of like saying you give up advantages in other areas, and one of those is definitely defense. You take a lot of damage while doing that because you have to keep your line safe on the back. So I think that's why Darbo is so favored.
Definitely. And we're going to go right into our next game. I think they set up right as we were talking, so give us 1 quick second, guys. I think we're ready to go.
Can we also mention just very quickly, Digimon rounds blazing fast. Like, I've never seen a tournament run this smoothly ever.
Yeah, they are just going fast, and it looks like Kevin doesn't want to get off the camera at this point in time. Headman. As we set up for our next round. Let's go ahead and we can see if we can fix these camera angles. And we know that mat. I know exactly who's sitting there. I think we all know.
You do?
It is our winner of Swiss.
Oh?
That is our undefeated Gabubond player sitting across from. And I'll be honest with you, I really haven't seen what deck our pilot on the left is playing, but I am excited to see what is going to happen. If he can take down the champ.
Well, there he is.
There he is. Oh no, I mean I completely agree with you. The matchups that Diaboro has, it does have some very difficult matchups. Musketeers, Lord Nightmon, Jessamon. But let me say, versus the Sea of Security Control and the Sea of Gabu, we got some pretty crazy things coming our way. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the players for their names as we set up this. So we're going to mute ourselves real quick, and we'll be right back for the commentary. Okay, guys?